From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm John Kennedy. Security is tight in France as the Olympics are set to get underway, but officials say the nation's high-speed railways have been hit by several malicious acts that have heavily disrupted traffic. The SNCF is calling it a series of coordinated overnight incidents, while government officials are describing it as criminal actions and sabotage. Several fires have been extinguished and incendiary devices have been removed by police. Transportation Minister Patrice Vergrietti says the incidents have paralyzed several high-speed lines linking Paris to the rest of France and neighboring countries. As Jasper National Park and town site burns underneath a blanket of wildfire, cooler weather and rainfall might be helping fire crews in the area. The park posted to social media saying cooler temperatures and up to 15 millimeters of rain has fallen since midnight. More rain is expected today and temperatures are supposed to return to the mid-20s by this weekend. The federal government is organizing resources to help Alberta's wildfire crews fight the blaze. Canadians have been adjusting their grocery shopping habits as prices in the country have risen by double digits in the past few years. While everyone is looking for ways to trim their grocery bill, Craig Trulieb is in Kitchener, Ontario, and says he hits multiple stores instead of just one for his shopping. He says bargain hunting has taken the convenience out of shopping, but it is a necessity. Trulieb is among the many Canadians who say they're traveling further and further out of the way to get better deals on groceries or to support local independent stores instead of large chains. Following high-stakes meetings with White House officials in Washington, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to meet with former President Donald Trump. Reporter Christine Cordero has more.
Likely Democratic presidential nominee Vice President Kamala Harris meeting with Israel's Prime Minister and reaffirming her support for Israel and push for a ceasefire in the war in Gaza.
I also expressed with the Prime Minister my serious concern about the scale of human suffering in Gaza, including the death of far too many innocent civilians.
Benjamin Netanyahu also meeting with President Biden.
Today, Trump will meet with the Israeli Prime Minister for the first time in nearly 4 years. Deadpool is finally here, and fans are expected to flock to theaters this weekend for the sequel. Reporter Jason Nathanson talked to the film's villain.
Is that supposed to be scary?
Deadpool and Wolverine, perhaps the year's most anticipated film, now in theaters. And in addition to Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, Emma Corrin joins the cast as the villain Cassandra Nova.
Oh, this is so silly.
It was really delicious.
The character literally sinks her fingers into people's heads and messes with their minds. Corrin telling me they had to wear prosthetic digits.
It's like having fingers on your fingers. But it feels interesting because you couldn't do anything once I had them on, because they also had nails on them which were very fragile. So yeah, I couldn't go to the bathroom by myself, which was humbling.
Deadpool and Wolverine expected to set opening weekend records. Marvel's owned by Disney, the parent company of ABC News. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Canada will have to defend its Olympic gold medal in women's soccer without the team's head coach. The Canadian Olympic Committee removed Bev Priestman from the role for the remainder of the Paris Games following a Canada soccer suspension amid a drone spying scandal. 2 Canadian staffers were sent home earlier this week after New Zealand complained of 2 practices having drones hovering above. Canada's Stephen Ames is atop the Senior British Open leaderboard. The Calgary golfer fired a 468 to take the first-round lead at the tournament in Scotland. Meanwhile, on the PGA Tour, countryman Mackenzie Hughes is a stroke back from Jacob Bridgman heading into the second round of the 3M Open in Minnesota. American Lauren Coughlin shot a 468 to sit atop the leaderboard at the opening round of the CPKC Canadian Women's Open in Calgary. Maud-Émile LeBlanc and Savannah Gruel both shot 71 to finish as the top Canadians at 1 under. From the Canadian Press, I'm John Kennedy.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.